Let's take a tour of the After Effects workspace. What you see before you are a bunch of panels that are connected to one another, and the panels are where you're going to find the functionality to perform tasks. For example, performing animation, performing color correction, editing audio and video, and that kind of stuff. Over here, we find our main tools. And these tools will give us the ability to move things around, to add masks, feathers, paint, and do things like create pins for a really cool feature called the puppet tool, which I'll share with you guys later on. And these are the pins right here. So as you can see right now in the composition window or panel, I have something called a solid here. And I'll talk more about what a solid is later on. But as you can see, because I have this tool selected, I can move it around inside of the comp window. All right, so I'm simply grabbing it and moving it around. And whenever you have something selected, you'll see these little dots here called handles. I can click on those handles and I can squash and stretch things and move them around. And I can resize and all kinds of cool stuff to my object. We have this tool here called the hand tool, which does something similar to what the space bar will do if you hold it down on your keyboard. So let's say I grab the selection tool and I hold down the space bar. Now the hand tool is active, and when I let go, the other tool comes back. So I highly suggest that you just use your space bar and just ignore this guy here. All right, make believe he's not there. We have, of course, a magnifying glass tool or zoom tool, which we can use to zoom in on our comp and see what's going on. All right, so we'll talk more about these other tools later on, but I just wanted to give you an idea as to what you're seeing here. Over here, we see our workspace presets. Now, workspaces are predefined arrangements of panels based on particular tasks. So let's say you're doing text today. Well, all of your text-based tools now show up. So we have character panel and all kinds of cool stuff. If we're going to work on special effects, all the tools that go hand in hand with that task show up. And of course, more live in here. Elsewhere, I will talk about how to create your own custom workspaces, which will be suited for what you want to do, and you can hide what you don't want to see. Now let's go ahead and talk about the timeline, which is this guy here. The timeline is where we're going to control and view our animation. And what I'm doing right now is called scrubbing. I simply click on this little guy here called the current time indicator, and I can scrub it across the timeline. And the time will change right here and right here, telling me where I am as far as time and frames in my footage. So as you can see, I'm about 9 seconds in to the footage. Now 10 seconds. Here we have switches that control the functionality of the layers that we have here. And when we have more layers, we'll have a bunch of stacks of stuff in here, which we can then control with these switches. And once again, I'll talk more about that later on in the course.